All right. Now, hello everyone. So today I am going to be doing some tinkering. This is what you're listening to right now is this microphone. It's a really, really cheap. I think these are like $1 online. Don't really know much about them. I just found them at actually like one of those little cell phone stores nearby. Literally $1, $2 each, right? So here's the internals on them. You've got the membrane here, short little thing here, and apparently these are actually dynamic microphones, so there's some sort of circuitry in here that sort of cuts out the noise and adds voltage and does all that you usually don't see in a condenser microphone. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm a huge fan of dynamic microphones. I don't like condenser mics because you have to have like a whole kit of supporting gear to make it work. Dynamic mic, use plug and play, right? It's perfect. So I've been using this for this whole time. If you've seen these before or you're considering getting one to plug into your computer, and you have to keep a few things in mind. First of all, these are usually almost always mono. And you could tell that by the connector here. You see, there's only one ring. So it's a mono sound signal, meaning if you plug it into your computer, you'll actually only hear it from I think your left side of your left ear or right ear. So yeah, you'll only hear it through one side. Um, we're gonna try to fix that today, but not with this microphone. I actually went out and I bought the big brother to these. Or every karaoke set that you buy from like any of these stores, all these Chinese junk stores, they all come with this microphone or something similar to this. Not all of them, but like a lot of the really lower end ones, they come with this. You plug this into your usually hardwired into the karaoke sets, but if you try to plug these into your computer, first of all, it's very quiet, right? Like it's dynamic in name only. The actual amount of supply power into these is not enough to make them loud at all. So you need something like equalizer APO or some sort of tool or software or like audio compressor to actually make the audio audible like at an acceptable level. And once you do that, you actually can't like the noise floor is really awful. Like there's a constant hiss. It's really bad actually. So to work around that, you using equalizer APO, you also have to use a custom filter. There's some really cool videos on YouTube. If you look up like equalizer APO, like noise pass filter or stack filter, there's some really good videos out there of people who like add like you layer on two or three different filters on top that cut out the noise completely, and it works wonders. Like um I wish I could give you. I might give you a sample of what it sounds like without a filter, but basically it's just like this, but with a huge amount of static in the background that never stops, and you can't cut it out with, Discord or Zoom. They have noise gate control. Like it won't work with that. It's that bad. Anyways, and that's enough of a tangent for now. I actually want to talk about this. I just picked this up today for I think $5 US equivalent. MIC-884, whatever that means. Professional dynamic microphone. I'm not too sure about that. Made by Advance. They make a lot of electronic stuff. Cardioid polar pattern. Yeah. Same thing on this side. Same thing on this side. Oh my god, it's just two things. Here we go. 25th. 25th anniversary. Is this upside down? Oh no, it's not. Okay. Let's open it up. Okay. I actually put this in here earlier, and I'll come back to that in a sec. But this is actually what comes with it. So we have this, and as you can tell, compared to the old one, quite a bit chunkier. It feels really nice actually. It's quite. I mean, it's still. I don't think that's plastic. This bit is tin or whatever. I don't know, some cheap metal. But this part's all plastic. It feels pretty. It's a bit. It's more substantial. It feels more substantial in your hand, but like side by side, it's not that different really. The big problem with this, or it's not really a problem actually. Some people might prefer it. Look, it's a quarter-inch jack, a 6.5 millimeter jack instead of a 3.5 millimeter quarter-inch jack. This is a half-inch jack. Yeah, that's a problem for me because I don't actually have a mic input that does half-inch or 6.5 millimeter. Uh, Technically, this is better because it's balanced, which means like it's grounded, it's shielded. You get a better, clear signal. But my setup currently won't doesn't have something that size. I think I will have an amp hooked up to my microphone that will support this size, but by that point, I'll probably have a totally different, better microphone, of course, obviously. Um, so yeah. So what I wanted to do is actually another thing is this is also mono, so yeah, you can see there's only one thing, so it's mono. I am thinking, um, these are the cables, nothing is on the other side, from my earbuds that I did the video on previously, and they're stereo. So I think I can actually cut this and attach this cable, make it fit, and turn it into stereo instead of mono. So I'll be like killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. And it's not like a waste because it's $5. It's not like I'm ruining a nice set of uh, microphone. But yeah, if I were to plug this in right now, if I had a half inch, this would only come through on the left ear. It would only go through mono, so I would have to go into my equalizer APO and turn mono into stereo. It was still a mono channel, but like it's playing off both ears, if you know what I mean. So it's not really stereo, but you know it's just cloned. There's a real term for that. I forget what it's called. Instead of doing it through equalizer APO, I'll just do it via hardware because everything's better if you can just do it in hardware. And just cut these two and put them together and then plug them in. One thing I have to be careful of is that these are actually shielded. I think these are shielded. So there's actually like a thin layer of metal covering the actual wires in here. I think, but we're going to find out. Another thing I like about these uh, is the cable is really long. I quite like it. It says on the text, high grade, low noise microphone cable on here. Uh, it's quite cool. The shorter you make this, because this is not shielded, so the shorter, so every like millimeter I'm using this cable of, it'll leak out noise and it'll like detract noise from the outside. So, um, which is bad. So if I can keep this part of the cable as short as possible, that will be ideal. So let's do that. This to the side. What I'm going to do for that, a pair of scissors. Oh, I am going to be soldering on camera. Oh my god. Hopefully I don't die. So we'll put this off to the side, put this off to the side. This one, got my flux. I don't have a sponge right now. I have this, which is a USB fan thing. It's actually really funny. Great for hot days, but also to get all this awful, what do you call it? Awful smoke and vaporized lead out of my face, and hopefully not in my lungs. So I'm gonna set that up right there. But this is it, moment of no return. Hopefully it turns out correctly. At the end of this, I'll also do a sound test between these two. Do some slicing. Try not to cut myself. There we go. Ah, there is a shielding. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so there is a shielding in here. You kind of see it. It looks like tin foil. So there is shielding. I'm just gonna keep slicing down on this side, actually. I hope I don't slice into the wire too much. And pull out the innards. So this is a coaxial style. This little plastic thing actually separates the positive side out from the negative. So this is the negative uh, on the outside, and what's inside of this plastic core is the actual positive signal. So the negative is the ground in this case, and you see positive. Let's just keep going with this. So I have to very carefully get some of the shielding off without destroying the copper wire inside, just like that. Perfect. Now, hopefully, this microphone is better than the microphone we're using currently, because as you could probably tell, it's a bit not great at all. So this one, so I'm gonna leave about maybe 3 inches. I don't want to cut it too short in case I have to re-slice it, but we'll say that's about right. It's a good length. I mean, I guess I do have other aux cables, so it doesn't really matter if these get ruined. And because these are braided, they're also kind of a pain in the ass to strip, because you can't just like strip them normally. Actually, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, that's actually easier. Okay. God, the wires in here are very thin though. But either the rubber on these are so stale, I could just pull them off with no wire strippers. Okay, so we have got a blue, we've got a red, and we've got a gold. That actually makes things easier. What I'm going to do is, because this is a mono and this is stereo, I'm actually going to combine the left and right positive, the red and the blue, and solder them to the positive on here, and then combine the negative and put them right there. So let's try that out. And go ahead and burn this off. There we go. Now, you have to be careful when you do that, because if you put them in high temperature for too long, they'll actually you'll actually just melt the wire off the copper. So just a tiny little pass, and that's it. Okay, now we go ahead and get some flux. I'm actually just going to use this to push some flux out for us. Some flux now. Take our positives. Maybe I should burn the negative as well while I'm at it. So I don't. The less, the less I move them around after I solder the first one, the better. So just completely cover that in flux. Really want to just. There's no such thing as too much flux when it comes to soldering, really. I mean, maybe there is such thing, but I certainly haven't reached that point yet. And this certainly isn't a lot of flux. I don't actually have like a soldering station with the little alligator clips. Maybe I should get one of those. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna use this miniature, the cutest little bench vise you've ever seen. So let me just open her up. Alligator clips would be a big quality of life upgrade, I feel like. Wrap it. Actually, I'm gonna give this thing a little haircut, because the cotton is a little unruly, I think. I don't want to accidentally slice these wires too. Okay, now it is time, almost time to solder. We have the soldering core right here. I am just going to go ahead and really just cover it in flux. Now, this soldering iron is pretty ass. It's pretty awful, actually. But there's a little, like, chunk of the soldering iron missing up here. And I'm going to use that to my benefit to sort of pull it. And once it's pulled, I want to just drop it right on here. I'm going to apply quite a bit more flux on this. This time I actually just ended up just going ahead and twisting it. which I didn't do before, but I should have, because it just makes it easier. And then I'm just gonna do that. So right now the wire is right between the lead core and the soldering iron. So you want the wire to melt the solder, not the soldering iron itself. Okay, that is very rough looking. It's pretty awful looking, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it'll do the trick. Um, Now, to prevent any short circuits, I'm going to need to wrap that in electrical tape, which I cannot find right now. So I'll be right back and I'm gonna go look for that while that cools. Okay, I found it. So let's go ahead and patch this up a little bit. Heat shrink would be better, but I of course do not have that. So maybe the biggest tip you should take away from this is to always be prepared. Okay, that went actually a lot better than the other side. But I also kind of melted the positive, so I'll try to fix that real quick. Okay, so you got the negative hooked up, you got the positive hooked up. I am going to now plug this in and see what kind of results we get. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what it sounds like normally with no EQ filters or anything like that. So obviously, as you can tell, there is quite a lot of static. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn on the EQ right now. Not the EQ. I'm gonna turn on the noise suppressor, and this is what it should sound like now. But yeah, there should be no static. And then I also have a equalizer piece thing. Gives a boost, and I just turned the boost off now. And it might sound more crisp. It might not. We'll see. Decided to settle on a 7 decibel boost. There was a 21 before on my old microphone, but now it's 7. And I think this is the sweet spot. Okay, I just got off of a phone call with someone and we're comparing the microphones and the audio quality of them together. The biggest upside with this actually isn't this audio quality, it's I can with these old mics that I was using, I had to really be like face first, like a mere inches, like 2 or 3 inches away from the top of the microphone. If I was like more than this far away, or my head was like looking instead of like my mouth was being speaking directly into the microphone, I was like speaking straightforward that way, or up, or just a little bit off to the left or right. It would like drop out the sound by quite a lot. Um, I think it has something to do with just how quiet these are when they're bone stock. And obviously when you're layering the preamps, and doing some audio compression, uh, and a bit of gain tweaking, it's like it becomes like an all or nothing kind of thing. So the threshold for when it becomes like when it cuts out is very harsh, and it's very sensitive to that. With this, I can actually back. So I'm gonna start backing up from the microphone. So like, and you can still hear me quite well. I'm about 8, 10 inches away from the microphone now. Like, and you can still hear me. I'm about a foot now. I'm about 18 inches now. About 3 feet away. So, and then I'm coming back in. So obviously, like you could still hear that. Obviously, it gets quieter, but um yeah, it doesn't cut out to completely zero anymore. It's not all or nothing. And then if I turn my head to the right, I'm like 90 degrees to the right, and then look back, turn my head to the left, 90 degrees to the left. Obviously, you do hear it. You do hear me like facing away from the microphone, but it's not like suddenly you're just completely cut out, which was the case with these. So definitely was worth it just for that in its own. I'm pretty happy with these. Yeah, this is pretty. It was a pretty nice, decent upgrade. Um, you know, wish it had the normal normal 3.5 millimeter, but oh well. Obviously, I could have just bought like a a 6.5 to a 3.5 millimeter jack adapter, but I didn't want to wait for it to come in the mail, and I wanted it to turn the mono to stereo like as soon as I could in hardware, so I did that. In terms of the actual software in Equalizer APO, uh, what you heard earlier was when the settings were completely the same, and then I turned off one of the preamp layers, turned off the second preamp layer. Right now, I don't have any preamps going. This is just the way it sounds naturally. I have the noise suppression, the background noise suppression is on. Um, you could hear it a little bit for a second there earlier. Not nearly as bad as with these. These the static was really loud and in your face. The static on these, the background static, it was still there, but it was definitely a lot more toned back, especially compared to your own voice. Um, really just like a background noise. Um, it still would be kind of annoying to listen to, but not nearly as bad as these. Yeah, what else can I say? Like these are just louder out of the box. Obviously because I don't need to do any preamp layering now. Um, yeah, that's it. Quite good. Quite a good microphone. Um, yeah. If only they made these in 3.5 millimeter, but you know, you could always just buy an adapter and then go into yours. You don't even need an EQ software thing. I think there's a way to do it in Windows, I think, where you can turn this mono into stereo. Otherwise you would just be hearing this off of the left side or the right side. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. One thing that I did that I completely forgot about is I went into the equalizer in Peace and I lowered some of the lower mids and the bass and sub bass to kind of cut out the muddiness and sort of like the you know, kind of like the wompy wompy kind of noise. And then I also lowered some of the sibilants up around 7,000, 7-ish thousand. There wasn't much, but there was just a tiny little bit that I want to turn down. But yeah, I think they sound pretty great actually. I'm really chuffed to bits. It's quite a nice microphone. Definitely a step up from what I was using before. So that's all I care about.